August 16th, 2025, and there's some news coming to a social media application near you. This past week, SCOTUS sided with the state of Mississippi in allowing it to move forward with implementation of its social media age verification requirement law, House Bill 1186 to be precise. This law requires everyone who accesses social media to first verify that they are at least the age of 18, and if you are a minor, you must have parental consent. It's important to note, though, that Judge Kavanaugh mentioned in his opinion that this law is highly unlikely to be found constitutional in future suits. It's just that NetChoice came with a really piss-poor argument, which was just free speech, free speech. Need a little bit more than that. NetChoice, of course, has promised that they will be back and they will prevail in the next case. And for those who don't know, NetChoice is just a coalition of media outlets and social media people. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok used to be a part of it, but then had to leave in 2019 due to the whole spyware drama. But you get the idea. The reason why this case is so important is because I want to draw your attention to a global panic that is going on regarding social media and our children. Instead of dealing with the actual problem, lawmakers globally are literally just trying to wall kids off from the internet and phones. Case in point, let's go to Australia. Last year, Australia did a total ban on access to social media if you were under the age of 16. And if you are found as a platform to have anyone under the age of 16 holding an account, they can fine you up to the amount of like $33 million per instance. I think that's like 50 million Australian dollars. Intense, right? Norway is drafting legislation, something along similar lines, except they're saying, 15 and under. France is actually running a pilot program now where they're banning kids, I think, under the age of 13 from even having cell phones. And then we have this group of parents in the UK that are making pledges to not allow their kids to access social media applications like Telegram and WhatsApp until they're at least 12 or 13 years old. You know what's missing here? Parental accountability, right? And a comprehension of who they're actually impacting with these restrictions. Let's look at Utah, for example. They tried to do a complete social media ban for anyone under the age of 18. And of course, the federal judge was like, no, that's unconstitutional and violates the First Amendment. Even Texas tried to go this extreme with House Bill 186, which would again have banned anyone under the age of 18 from being able to use social media. I think Mississippi got their idea from Tennessee, who has the Protecting Kids from Social Media Act, which also requires age verification and parental consent if they get an account online. Of course, that is also being challenged. And NetChoice is after this case as well. And here's a quick map of everywhere NetChoice is currently fighting. So what's the deal? Am I really against trying to restrict the youth from harmful social media applications? Of course not. But I'm also against causing kids undue harm because of these restrictions. Let's just face facts here. There's an assumption behind all of this policymaking that by cutting the cord, we're protecting kids. I mean, come on. Do we really believe bans honestly stop kids? Guys, I found my first Corn magazine by the time I was 10 because my friend's idiot brother hid it in a very sloppy pace. My dad put a little padlock on the back of our cable TV box to stop me from flipping the switch up so I could see MTV. I picked it with a paperclip. Kids route around barriers. They always have. And here's the dark side to this policymaking too. Restrictions don't just cut off content. They also cut off lifelines. Think about this. LGBTQIA youth, kids who are in abusive households, kids who may be hungry and need to find resources for food, kids who are low income and don't have internet at home so they can only do class projects while in school. These are the people who hurt the most when the government slams digital doors in their faces and leaves them in the dark. All under the banner, ironically, of child safety. And then we have the whole hypocrisy of this. There's so much hypocrisy here, it just makes my head explode. Same parents who are cheering on these bans with full gusto are also the same ones crying foul and censorship and suppression when they were trying to hawk dangerous pandemic cures like huffing peroxide and taking ivermectin. Platforms to do more when it's about kids and less when it's about them. You can't demand lifeguards save drowning kids when you're the one dumping motor oil into the fucking swimming pool. There's another hard truth we have to look at. Parents already have the fucking tools to protect their kids. YouTube has them, TikTok has them, the phones have them, your fucking Wi-Fi router in your house that you're looking at right now as I'm talking to you has them. Yet roughly half of US parents use these tools. Half of the parents in the US even bother to check on what their kids are consuming. You'll even see where most will say it's the parent's responsibility, but they'll be damned if they're going to act like a parent and handle it. So basically, today's parents are relying on tech platforms and governance to parent their children and protect them in the online world, and then expect to have the right to sue when they themselves didn't do what they were supposed to as parents to protect their children online. I have 3 suggestions for policymaking, and these are going to seem like no fucking brainers, but I think it bears repeating. We need to have digital literacy taught in schools. That way kids can spot everything from scams, harassment, bullying, misinformation, and grooming. Yes, we need to have that uncomfortable talk about what grooming is, what it looks like. We also need to have legitimate platform accountability across the board, not just for kids. The kids didn't create the garbage on the internet. We, the adults, have. I do feel that there need to be fines imposed against platforms when they're allowing content to become popular without, taking steps to stop it. And we don't need to be punishing platforms for teen speech. Looking at you conservative parents, you don't get to silence their voices and stop them from finding safe havens. And frankly, I think we need parental responsibility laws. Okay? I think that parents should not be allowed to sue a platform unless they can prove that they took every step possible to prevent, resolve, protect their child. If you are not able to sit down with your child and go through their browsing history, go through their chat logs and go, what is this? Why is this? Then act surprised when they unalive from bullying, you don't have a lawsuit. Time for you to do the fucking hard work. Instead of treating the internet like you do the schools as a babysitter, be involved. Shape your child's understanding of the world around them, including the digital world. Kids deserve rights. They're people too. They're not your property. And platforms do need rules, absolutely. But I think we need that in conjunction with parental accountability. Anything else, it's just political theater.